Computer's all messed up since like nothing is as it was before, since I had the wife in here with me last Friday. So I'm trying to readjust everything here. So bear with me. Bear with me. Wait for anybody to jump in here. Everybody's probably lived out between Jay's live this morning, between Andrew's kayak live, between Twin just being live, now me being live. Randall Munson, good to see you, sir. Welcome. Happy day after to you as well. Everybody's been doing lives today. I'm off work today. Had nothing going on. I'm like, I got a little bit of fire in my belly from this morning, being on the chat and Prepared Citizens Live, and a little fire in my belly. So I'm kind of picking up where Jay left off this morning. So I got the pucker powder right here for anybody that may need it. It's a staple on my live, staple for my podcast. So anyway, hope all is well with you, Sir Randall. Hope the holidays were good for you here. Mainly, what is up, my dude? If you haven't done so, mainly, you need to go back and watch our Friday night Frisky live at about the 15-minute mark and watch that. You'll lose your shit, dude. You'll lose your shit. Oh, stuck in therapy. Yeah, man. 15-minute mark mainly. It was quite fun. I don't know if you got to see it yet or not. Yeah, we kind of threw one at Andrew there, the wife and I did. So it was quite awesome. I loved it. Just the sheer reaction that he had. I'm sorry to hear that, man. There's been a lot of gunk going around, people getting respiratory shit, throat all like they're swallowing shards of glass, people with gut rot and stuff now. I've been thankful. I've been pretty fortunate. I haven't gotten anything so far, but who's to say that's not going to change like tomorrow or something? Good. Yeah, wait till chat starts filling up here a little bit more, and then I'll start going off the rails on my crazy train. That's not a thing to copyright. I'm just saying the words. I am off work today. I had my PTO put in before to have off, kind of leading into Christmas a little bit, but I took off today, taking off Monday, then I'm taking off the 2nd, so I can get some extended time off here. It's kind of nice because I've been working my stuff into the ground. Oh my! Speaking of, guess who must have hit the taco truck? Yeah, he said he was going to. Looks like he has some kind of guacamole on something or other. There's no mayo. I didn't see any mayo on there. But guessing he'll be along here shortly too. But yeah, I'm going to be kind of picking up today here where Prepared Citizens, where Jay kind of went with his live this morning, and I'm kind of throwing my 2 cents in with it. Kind of have already done that to a degree on the Spotify podcast, especially on episode 47. That's where rubber really met the road. Pilgrim, long time no see, man. You ain't getting shit done today. No, man, today's my whack day. I'm not. I got a shower. I put some oil on my beard. I didn't even shave my head. I threw a hat on. I made something to eat for breakfast, but that's about it. I think I let the dog out too. No, no, I didn't. She did. But any weasel, yeah, just kind of kicking around doing as little as possible because it's that whole day off thing. And I actually want to have a day off for a change because I don't get very many of those. Even on my day off, I got a text from the boss. Yeah, yeah, I'm doing a random ass impromptu live on a Friday afternoon when I would normally be at work. So yeah, even on my day off, boss texted me this morning. Hey, sorry to bother you on a day off, dude. Mental health, I have none. My mind is not healthy at all. You guys have seen enough of these lives. You should know that. Mental health. That's just a suggestion. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man. So this year for Christmas, I ended up getting quite a few knives. Oddly enough, my daughter's boyfriend ended up getting me a whole set, and the wife got me another set. She knows how much I love the Camillus Carnivore, the one I did for the Altoid Survival tin that's Ranger banded to it. I love that carnivore. Um, that being said, there he is, ACR himself. He has come off the water, he has hit the taco truck, and now he is here with us. Good day, sir. A little time off for bad behavior. I don't get such a thing. They're just like, knock it off, get back to work. But she did end up picking me up another carnivore, which I love. The one she got me before was the longer one with the gray handle and the Kydex sheath. This one has a Kydex insert and a nylon sheath. And it's a little bit shorter with the tan handle. That thing I decided to put with my assault pack. I'm not going back there because of how the algorithm overlords are, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he touched something." I'm not doing that. But anyway, um, yeah, she got me a Camilla set, and that little tiny Skinner utility blade thing. Yeah, it came with another one of those. The one that I already had a little side sheath right on the Kydex, just slid right in there. Well, this one has its own little guy with a little thumb thing here. You just kind of push it a little bit and it comes out. It's pretty cool. I was kind of gonna try and see if I could drill a little hole in the top here and put a ring through it or something that I could make it into like a neck knife kind of deal. But I don't think I'm gonna have the space to do that. But anyway, it's a cool little blade. She got the carnivore with that little guy, and it came with a folder. And I have the folder. Let me see which way do I want to go here. The folder is actually up there, like literally right here at the tip of my finger. I just clipped it on the molly there the other day. It's a nice folder, super sharp. Like it, shave the hand hair right off. Awesome. Then daughter's boyfriend got me. It's kind of strange. It's a real tree knife set, and it came with a fixed blade and a Jacob two-way. Good to see you, sir. That real tree set is actually pretty freaking cool. A couple folders, had a kind of like a multi-tool in with it. I was really impressed by it. Came with a little like 450 lumen flashlight, takes triple A's. I was like, okay, cool. You know what? That little multi-tool and that flashlight, I'm gonna put them in the truck. I have a bunch of headlamps in the truck, and I have a big folding knife, Mirko Blackie Collins from years ago. That was a gift that I keep in the truck. But I also have a Camillus I keep in the truck, and my carnivore I keep in the truck, and all that. But I wanted to put the multi-tool in because it's got a file, it's got the screwdriver, it's got scissors, it's got a plethora of different little things. So I like I said, you were at the taco truck. That thing did look good. I did not get a burrito, but I think I may have Mrs. Metal talked into making quesadillas this evening. If you have not found these in life, you're wrong. Okay. There are these things called crimpets. They're like a clamshell kind of thing with like a little serration edge the whole way around it. Put your just wet the edge of your tortilla, put it on there. Put your filling in, whether it's apple pie filling, cherry pie filling, pizza stuff to make just like a mountain pie maker kind of deal. But you take and you put your quesadilla filling in there and or your taco meat or whatever, however you want to do it with your cheeses and everything. Crimp it down, then you plop it on your flat iron. Oh my god. Mm. Makes the best freaking quesadillas in the universe. I'm Metal01 and I approve that message. Crimpets are amazing. Two different sizes, small ones, so you can make like little kind of like freaking Pop-Tart kind of things, like toaster pastry kind of deals with tortillas. Or if you don't want a big one, you could do a breakfast one, like you were talking about breakfast burritos. And I truly blame Lawfully for this whole thing with the burritos and everything. It's totally his fault. So thank you, Lawfully. So yeah, crimpets are amazing. But that real tree set has a bunch of different cool stuff in it, a bunch of different cool folding knives and stuff. But there's a fixed blade in it that is literally like it has the feel and it has the look to me kind of like an Essie. And I really like that blade. I really want to fix it up on that Yakeda rig that I was using for my DM for my Grendel stuff. Did a video on that rig. So I want to set that knife up on that rig. So I'm going to have to get some Kydex and make myself a holster to rig up on that thing because it's really cool. I know it's real tree and it's not. Yeah, it does. ACR saw it. It looks like an Essie. It feels when you grip on it, it feels like an Essie. It is super freaking sharp. Like I said, I'm surprised I have any hair left on the back of my hand here because I just kept like checking those knives, shaving. Bad dream. Good to see you, sir. Be safe on your errands today, and I will catch up with you later on, my friend. But yes, today I said I'm going to pick up where Jay left off on his live this morning with his coffee and chaos, right? I am, that's why I'm doing the random ass. I think I entitled this Olympus Has Fallen, right? So, really good way to preface what I'm saying here and what Jay said this morning is if you go back, if you get the opportunity, if you haven't already, Justin Lark, good to see you, my brother. Go back and listen on the Spotify's to my podcast episode 47. I get deep in the pain on that. It's talking a lot of the stuff that ties into current what's going on right now. Kind of called it back in May, I think it was. No, it was March. It was in March. So, yeah, that's a good. I can say a lot more on that platform than I can here. Anybody who's listened to 47, they can attest to it. Beverage today is at Full Throttle. I've got it like we're like 2 for $4, so I grabbed 2 of them last week and meh. I think after that I'm going to be kicking into the actual Red Thunder from Aldi's. But yeah, guys, today we are looking at 12/26/2025 at roughly 12:24 hours Eastern Standard Time. So, the current price of silver on the market, thanks to my brother Dano posting it up there for me earlier in our Misfit chat. We're looking at $76.28 per ounce on silver. Okay. That's for like just regular silver rounds. Now, if you're looking at finished rounds, like the premium stuff, you're looking at $81.54 per ounce. That's anything that's been minted and cast is $81.54. Straight up blanks, just rounds, silver rounds to the ounce, you're talking $76.28. I have talked with you guys before. I've mentioned it a couple times. Dangerous. Good to see you, sir. I need to do something here while I'm thinking about it. And I see that guy. And here you go, Dangerous. Here is your blue wrench, brother. I have used the comparisons here before. Silver, the price is going up. Oh my gosh, it's worth so much more. It is, but it isn't. It's kind of an illusion. Okay. So this can of chew. Okay. I'm going to say it's worth $2 generally, worth $2. Okay. But those dollars that I am spending to get this can of chew, well, they're devalued. They don't carry as much buying weight and they don't have the breadth that they once had. Not the same bandwidth as once they once were. Now, that $2, man, it's only worth about $1 now. So now we're going to have to say this can of chew doesn't cost $2 anymore. Now this can of chew is going to cost $3 or $4. The less amount our dollar carries for value, the more this is going to go up in price. Silver, dollars, silver, dollars. Economy. 2 for $4. I remember back when I used to buy these were like 89 cents or something, like years ago. Now they're like 2 for $4. And I got it on a clear out clearance sale, whatever. They were getting rid of them. So you see where I'm going here. It's not so much that the price of it is gone up. It's that the value of the dollar has gone down, that it now takes that much more to equal that one thing. In this case, it is silver. All right. That being said, Jay kind of touched into some stuff here with the charismatic carrot. I'm with Jay. I have voted for the gentleman 3 times. And it's one of those things where, do I have buyer's remorse? No, because I was putting up, my vote with what was given to me data wise. At the time, the data, covert breakout. Good to see you, brother Josiah. Couldn't be any better. Well, I mean, I could have covert breakout right here in studio with me, but no. Soon enough, though. Soon enough, we'll be getting together. I did vote for the guy 3 times. Do I have buyer's remorse? No, not really, because I voted then based on my data that I had presented to me with what I had to work with. I only had so much dope. Previous term, yeah, things seem pretty good. All the stuff that was said throughout the 4 years we had to deal with FJB. Okay, all right, he's gonna do it. Gonna drain that swamp. Gonna get rid of the nasty people. We're gonna take care of them. But then, yeah, no bueno. Hasn't happened. Nothing. On that podcast, that covered back at the 100-day mark. Okay. I'll show also the March of Ides and plenty of other things were going on. The Ides of March. Yeah. And plenty of other things were going on. Now, as Mr. Munson has said, vote based on an illusion of choices. Okay. We have to look at things for what we can see from actual past facts, things that have happened directly for us to see in the past. Okay. His entire being in the limelight, the Golden Dawn, was always, never once denied it. He was always a Dem. There is that interview on Oprah back, I believe it was 1989. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember 1989 and can recall all that. He was on a show with Oprah saying she asked him about running for office, and he said, "No, I don't think I would. No." She's like, "Well, if you did, how would you do it?" He's like, "Well, I'd run as a Republican because Republicans are easier to earn their trust." Remember? No, you can't go back and watch it because they've scrubbed it. They don't want you to see that. They don't want you to see that. No, 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 no. KP, good to see you, sir. He was a lifelong Dem. Said it right out in the open on that interview that he would run as a Republican because Republicans are easy to earn their trust. Obviously, especially after you run through a Dem crap show, right? Dangerous. You're exactly right. They control both options. They control both options, so it doesn't matter who you vote for. Covert and I have talked about this before. It's literally they have lost the privilege to have me cast a vote for either side. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Whenever the man that was a lifelong Dem takes and says he's running as a Republican because basically Republicans are stupid, it's easy to earn their trust. After we've been smashed into the ground by a Dem regime for how many years, of course we're going to vote for Republican. Of course we are. We're tired of this regime. We need the other. We're tired of the left Twix. We want the right Twix. Left Twix, right Twix. Same thing, right? Left, right. It's the same. They're both Twix. Much the same here, folks. But of course, we're going to be given the illusion of things being different. We are going to be promised with things being different. I honestly believe that he came into the spotlight, came down the golden escalator. A lot of people were very happy on that day. A lot of people love it. They loved it. So, of course, here, Dangerous, you're kind of like right in my mind space, brother. We're getting that hive mind between us, my friend. He came in not as, hey, I'm going to jump in here and do this because America needs saving. No. He came in because they needed him to step in to fill a role. He steps in and I'm going to save everything, speaking these Republican talking points when he's been a lifelong Dem. He's just planted to do what he did. When he came in, we were feeling the wrath of the great appeaser Obama. Okay. So we definitely needed something. We had something that they preyed upon. They preyed upon this because they tried to take this away from us, and he gave this to us. If Trump has given us anything, if he has given us anything in his entire tenure, first term while FJB was in and now in this current administration, if he has given us one thing, the ultimate thing he has given us has been hope. And let me explain that. When he came down that golden escalator, it went with their plan. He gave us something we didn't have. Because the Obama thing's whole slogan was hope. We had none with him. There was no hope for anything good. We had hope when we saw that guy coming down that escalator and said, I'm coming in, I'm going to drain the swamp, I'm going to do this. People had hope. We had something we hadn't had for a while, was hope as a people. But then, right? Things kind of, okay, we do this, we do that. And then right close to the end is fizzle, fart, fall off. But it's going to be better next time. I promise. We became the victimized, no offense to the ladies, but we became the victimized woman in a Lifetime movie. We were playing the Tracy Gold, Judith Light role as Americans. Whack. Oh, I can't believe you did that. Oh, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Not gonna do. No, no. I love you. I'll be better. Okay, he's gonna be better. Everything's gonna be great. He's gonna fix America like he said he was gonna do the first time. Whack. Oh, oh, I'm so sorry. I promise I'm gonna do better this time. This time I'm gonna XYZ instead of ABC. Okay, he still loves us. He's going to come back. He's going to fix everything. It's going to be different this time. Whack. Wash, rinse, repeat here. We are the victimized woman in a Lifetime movie now because so many have taken a mind virus that doesn't allow them to see truth for what it is. Okay? If the man did something good, I would praise him. If the man did something bad, I'm going to hold him to account. Doesn't matter if it's any of the Bushes, Clintons, Reagan, Obama, FJB, Trump. I don't care. I'm going to hold them to account for who they are. Accountability. We have zero, punto, nine, none. No accountability whatsoever in anything. It's nothing. It doesn't exist. He knew that he could get the support from the Republicans. And if he went over the top, if they made everything over the top, remember where Trump had a lot of his tie-ins in Hollywood, right? The Apprentice, movie spots, friends with stars and producers and directors and writers, right? He's also very good friends with who? The McMahons, Levesque, WWE, WWF. Very good friends with them. Very good friends with a lot of the big sports world too. Let's look at things for what they are here, okay, guys? Look at his campaign / rallies. All over the top. Trump Force One and blah 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 and all this and all that and blasting all the music and the gay YMCA shit and everything, right? Why is it that his why is it that his whole campaign, his whole rally thing was a WWE production? It was like bad Hollywood. It was like we were watching Idiocracy and Camacho is out there doing his thing, right? Drink Brondo. It's what plants crave. It has electrolytes. Literally, that's what we were seeing that entire fucking time. Smoke Carrolltons because F you, right? That's what we were seeing, but and that's what was getting completely inundated everywhere. But then we were seeing the merch everywhere, the red hats, the koozies, the t-shirts, the bumper stickers, the air fresheners, the toilet paper, the paper towels, the flags, the everything, everything, everything had "Make America Gape Again" all over it. It did, Alpha. It did, man. It turned out to be a complete bold-faced lie. I looking at all of that. So I voted Harris. No, like I said, I have openly said I have voted 3 times. But here's I'll get into that whole thing here in a little bit because she still played her role in all of this. They all have played their role in this, and I'll get to that here in a minute. But right now, from all of that of draining the swamp, bringing them to justice, taking and getting rid of crooked Hillary and blah blah blah, and putting us on a gold back and silver standard, and doing away with the income tax and building the border wall. Do you know how many more miles of border wall have been actually completed since taking office? Just a random number, guys. Take a guess with a random number. I'll give you a hint. It's a number between 0 and 0. Um, when he first got into office, he reached out to somebody I know personally because they have a they own a steel erection company. They build stuff with steel like that. They reached out to him and said, "Oh, we'll get back. We want you to do this and that and so on and so forth. We'd like to have you come down and be a contractor to do this." And then, okay, let me know, blah, blah, blah. He reached back out and said, "Oh, yeah, we're not going to need anybody. We already have it taken care of." But nothing's been done. Like you said, Mystic, everything's been sold off, auctioned off, sold off. Somebody actually bought some stuff from it out here and was like, "Yep, I own part of the border wall. Look at me." I thought it was actually kind of funny. But that being said, we currently see a push for AI, pushing for robotics, right? We see a push for crypto, for digital currency. We see a push for digital control. We get teased with war whenever he's allegedly the POTUS of peace. I'm going to end all the wars. I ended that, the peace talks, all this and all that shit, whatever. Ukraine and da da da. Everything's still going on. More stuff spurring up. But nothing. Still we have a phrase we like to talk about in my think tank, and we say it's "I'm not touching you." They're playing the "I'm not touching you" game. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. That's what they're doing. They're playing fuck games. Never have I seen a president come out with shoes, with a phone, with a crypto, with a pharmaceutical pharmaceutical company. Weird, right? One of the guys that literally has a company, American-made company that makes good products, and he gets crapped on all the time because he lived a hard life. He found his way to Jesus. Jesus found his way to him. They made a bond, and he turned his life around, started a company, and he was Trump's number one guy. He has battled tooth and nail for the man, has blood, sweat, and tears he has spilled for the man. Yet Trump turns his back on him. It's Mike Lindell. He has lost so much trying to help him and trying to help our country, but he just gets crapped on. I don't get paid by my pillow or anything or my anything. I'm just stating fact. If you look at everything, like I said, look at history and remember in your mind, brains, what happened just 5-6 short years ago. Yeah. Yes, he is running for governor in Minnesota because he is tired of the crap that's gone on there becoming Somalia, and he wants to clean it up. So we have all that stuff going on with the push for the digital stuff and the CBDC. It is coming, as Pilgrim said. Let me get some more go-go juice and some more nicotine in my body here, and I'll continue on this little journey. So got the CBDC, right? Central bank digital currency, or as the Genius Act put into place, stable coin here in the US. That's what he's putting his stamp on, is the stable coin. Okay. Central bank digital currency nonetheless. It's not going to be a central bank digital currency. It's going to be stable coin. They're not going to be 15-minute cities. They're going to be patriot cities. They're going to be freedom cities. Meanwhile, you're being tracked this way. You're being tracked this way. You're being tracked on all the cameras around. Okay. So we're going to track you in all this. We're going to say, okay, if we don't like what Metal said on that Olympus has fallen live stream on the YouTubes, you know what? We're going to demote his social credit score like they're already doing in China. We are going to take money from him or seize his account completely and not give him his UBI, his universal basic income, with that CBDC. We're not going to give that to him. He's going to be screwed. Click, done. Or AI looks at it and says, oh, hey, and it just does it. You know how whenever we have issues on this platform and we have to appeal a decision that removed one of our videos or something like that for BS, like ACR, yeah, had different things taken down. I've had different things taken down. Well, you can't appeal to a human. No, you're going to be in that AI realm, and that's it, homie. Good luck. Thanks for coming out. Now, as Dangerous said, China is the model, man. China is their go-to on this because, well, they're doing it. They have that currency. They control every aspect of everything with that. But if you take and you figure in now, not just the currency, but it's tied to an identification form. They had DHS Barbie out there, Christy Gnome, with her hair extensions and her plate carrying, like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to hold a gun, but like, look at me. I gotta go to the next place. DHS Barbie. They had her out there really pushing that real ID shit. Bobby B, good to see you, sir. They really had Christy out there really pushing that shit. Now, you can't fly. You can't domestically fly without a real ID, which is the digital ID that China has, just the same. Talked about that here a little bit ago, about how the guy didn't have his bike helmet on, so cops pull him over, they hit his thing and took his social credit points down. They took money from him and they flagged his ID. Well, with that real ID, you can't travel domestically, can't get aboard a flight unless you pay $45 more, and then you can go without having to have that. But it's to keep terrorists from getting on the T words from getting on our planes. Wait a minute. Can't they just pay $45 and they don't have to worry about it? Much like the Golden Dawn came out and said that they weren't going to do any more border wall. I talked about that here a few minutes ago. No more miles of border wall because they want to geofence. There it comes in again, geofence. So that way they can track digitally who's coming back and forth across the border. They don't necessarily want to shut down the borders. They want to control the borders as to see who's coming through and who's not coming through when they're coming and going. That's all there is. It's not going to be a closed off border wall. No, we're just going to use AI to track them. Yeah, veterans ID card should be just fine. No. They'll probably like take you to a different line and cavity search you back to your like third birthday. But I haven't had a 24-hour freeze on commenting since Trump took over. I have. I actually had one here a few weeks ago. And I literally said nothing to anybody or anything. I was like, I think I was actually on ACR's live and I just said hi. And then immediately, poof, I got hit with it. I said, good evening, everybody. Well, that was it. And poof, I got hit with it. Yeah, literally, Pilgrim, boom, boom, boom. During Obese, they handed out those Obese phones. Well, that's to get people to carry the phones and track them. Makes it easy. During FJB, they handed out more phones. Bing, 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 so they can track them. Now, they're trying to put a spin on things. It's not that they're handing out phones anymore. They still are to people on the border, but what they're doing is they have installed different types of AI within different devices. Proven fact. Proven fact. We have one on here called BIXBY. There is another one on the Juice Boxers phones that is called SIRI. We have one that plugs into the wall and it's called ALEXA, right? And there's GEMINI, right? Gen X, the second part of his name. Yeah. There's a bunch of them that are already installed on these devices. We're going to make it so that now we have the Trump phone. $500 made in China, but there's tariffs. There's tariffs. Made in China and made in India, but there's tariffs, guys. But don't worry, he's not going to jack up the price because he has to pay tariffs on those. No, he doesn't have to worry about tariffs. We have that border open. Geo fence. That's what they're calling it. How do I put this? If FJB, if the Timu Jamaican, if Obeezy, if Bush, if Clinton, if any of them, if Harris, the Timu Jamaican, if they did anything of what the Golden Dawn's doing right now, the greater MAGA movement would have lost their ever-loving minds. Could you imagine Mr. Mint Chocolate Chip himself was sitting in office and the things that are going on now were going on with him sitting in office? Or if the things going on now were happening with the Timu Jamaican sitting in office? They'd be losing their ever-loving minds. But because he's doing it, it's okay. It's like dude runs around with Mentos, and anybody that watches certain media channels, it's just a Mentos, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay. It's all right. Yeah, it's okay." No, MAGA has a different term now. It originally started as, we want to make our country great again. Now it's make America gape again. Basically, give it to him right up Main Street and just make it as wide as he can possibly make it. That's what that stands for. And yet, we see this stuff happening. It's right out and apparent. Eyes to see and ears to hear, but cannot see and cannot hear. Have no cognitive recollection of what has gone on, what has been said, what has been done. No matter what, they will praise. Coin term from Mr. Covert Breakout himself, PMS, praising MAGA syndrome. That's what it is. How do we go from I'm going to release the Epstein files in day one, a lot of bad stuff happened there, terrible things, all those poor kids, right? Goes from that, releasing them day one. They are covert. They are wild. But how do we go from all that in day one to Pam Bondi? Oh, day one. Kash Patel, day one. Dan Bongos, day one. To crickets. So then, it's. I barely knew the guy. I don't know. I caught a ride with him one time. But then you look at the actual FAA flight logs and you see he was involved a lot more than catching a ride with the guy. And of all places, why was he catching a ride with him to there? Weird. Barely knew the guy. Barely knew the guy. But yet there are countless hours of footage and pictures and guest book sign-ins at his parties in his residence and everything else. And Trump had him at his residence and Mar-a-Lago and his parties. Barely knew the guy. Barely knew the guy, but I invited him to my family's parties. Barely knew the guy, but I had him come to my house. Barely knew the guy, but I went to his parties and went to his house. Really? Because somebody I barely know, I ain't interacting with like that, right? Barely know the guy. Barely know the guy. Yeah. It's a total hoax, guys. It's a total hoax. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. I don't know why you're still talking about it. And he got actually visibly upset and was ticked off about it. It's just a Dem hoax. Just a Dem hoax. The Dems made it up. Obama and Hillary and Biden made it up. But you're on camera with him and all this and all that. But then there's a victims fund. There have been congressional hearings on this stuff where victims have come forth. Victims have come forth. In the rest of the world and how that works, if somebody does something to somebody and they call the cops arrest that person, they hem them up, they throw them into clink, they do discovery, they charge them, the victim comes forward and testifies. The defendant comes forward and testifies. There is a trial, hearing, jury trial in some cases, a grand jury in some cases, and it gets ironed out to the letter of the law. Cash Me Outside's sitting there right in front of Congress saying, "Nah, we got nothing. We got nothing, guys. We got nothing." Meanwhile, I'm gonna go chase down my Israeli Mossad honeypot on taxpayers' jet back and forth. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Right? Most transparent administration in history, right? It's sitting on my desk. There's so much. I'll get it out right away, but there's so much to go through. Then we get the government sponsored influencers, the GSIs, the ones, all tied to Zionism and everything, much the same. Weird. What a coincidence, right? Just what a coincidence. Twin, good to see you, sir. They all get these binders. And they're all standing out there with their cheesy binders with the whole, hey, look at us, we got them. Like, literally, this little guy right here. This little guy right here. Your page literally is black lines for how many pages in that binder is nothing but lines. A, the, from, for. They left those kind of words. To, and they left those words. Everything else was blacked out. Most transparent administration in human history blacked out in those binders. Okay. PR stunt. Just propaganda. Just putting it out there. They released the binders, Metal. They gave them to the influencers. They're going to have them and they're going to expose it all, Metal. Yay, trust the plan, Metal. Nah, I don't think I will, Mel. I don't think I will. Then you have people, couple people, just a couple, that are actually doing their jobs, that they were voted in to do those jobs. Like Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene. They went and they pushed to have these files released to the people in full, to we the people in full. Granted, the Dems were all about it, of course, because of Trump's alleged involvement. They put it out there. Okay, well, we're going to jump on board. Hey, I thank them for doing what they did. Hey, should be transparent. They should have voted for that to be released to the American people in its entirety. I understand redacting a name here or there of individual people and victims. I get that. Victims that haven't come forth publicly. If they wish to remain a Jane Doe, they can be redacted from that. Totally get it. I'm all for that. That's fine. I'm all for their privacy. The ones who have already stepped forward into public and don't care, it's like, hey, I'm Susie, whatever. And okay, Susie's out there. We all know it's public record at this point. Just it doesn't make sense why they're doing what they're doing. But it makes all the sense. Yes, the victims were protesting at the Capitol to release everything. But going with the narrative that Levitt's putting out there and that all these others are putting out there, well, we have to redact all this. And I understand, like I said, some things redaction. Get it. Get it. The issue I have, if they're Jane Doe, there's how many victims? So if there's like 3 or 4 Jane Does, whatever. If every one of them are, then like Dangerous said, they can't be nobody can be convicted. But when things happened, they were minors. Now, since they've drug it out for so freaking long, they're all adults. So, I mean, just saying, they're adults now. They're no longer minors. So they can't be pushed down underneath that umbrella like the little G is trying to put out there. Okay. So everything's blacked out. Now we have that push to have everything released in full. But, they only released part of it. They only released a tiny little sliver just to try and keep the Mel's happy. See, but they're releasing the files. They're releasing the files. Maybe. They could have literally just taken computer paper and just spit it out with a bunch of black lines on it and said that was one of them. We don't know that. We won't. Exactly. Why was there a victims fund? Why is there a victims fund? Why have these victims come forward and testified in front of Congress? If Trump was on the list, Biden would have jumped all over it. Hillary would have jumped all over it. They would have put it all out there, Metal. They would have sunk him right away. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't, Mel. Here's why. There's this thing called mutually assured destruction. Okay. I may have something on him, but he also may have something on me. I'm not releasing what I have on him because then he could release what he has on me. Mutually assured destruction. That's why Biden didn't do it. That's why Trump's dragging his feet on it. Mutually assured destruction. That's what it is. That's literally what it is. That's why they don't want it. That's why they're doing what they're doing. Nobody's gonna put that out there. We're not going to see it for what it actually is. Statute of limitations is a thing. Just as Randy said, it is a thing. They want to ride it out as long as they can just to make it go away. If I don't look at it, it doesn't exist. Like, okay, guys, you can't see me. That's how stupid they are. But we're the most transparent administration in history. It's pretty sad whenever they're to follow the law that government put into law, that they're to release all of this, yet they only do a portion. But if we are to follow a law and we only do a portion, we're still criminals, right? That's how it works. It's gotten to the point now that some of these good guys, I'll just say good guys, are filing for impeachment of Bold on Blondie. Will it go anywhere? No. No. Because the man sitting at the helm is too busy cucking for a foreign nation. He's sucking the Twinkie of Flimsy Graham, who didn't support him, ran him into the ground, who's nothing but a warmonger and has made X amount of dollars on the Ukrainian war. But we can't, no, let's not look at that. He calls him an American hero. He's great. And he's trying to push to get him put back in office. But then he's going to get his buddies, his Israeli APAC guys, to throw a bunch of money in to go after Thomas Massey, who is actually doing his job. And then he's going to call Massey a traitor, call Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor for wanting accountability and actually doing their jobs. What? Bizarro world here. It's absolutely stupid. And Twin, you're right. I mean, that's why we're prepping and training and do what we have to do to be ready. I totally remember that speech about the whole VMEs, man. I laughed so hard. I laughed so hard at that. I mean, Twin. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about extremes. Extremes are comfortable and they're easy. They're easy. It's easy to fall into this side over here being a VME. It's very easy to fall into this side over here being a lefty libtard Antifa BLTQA. It's easy to be in those. It's hard to walk the path that we walk in because we have to deal with shit from either side. It's much harder to walk where we do. It's not easy because we have to use our mind brains. We have to use all of our senses and figure things out to get through our daily lives and what we have to do. So we don't have to deal with this and we don't have to deal with that. We can just focus on what we're doing. Can't put blinders on because we have to see what these idiots are doing in either lane when we're driving down the highway, right? It's much harder to be where we're at, folks, than it is to be on either side. Just something to keep in mind. I don't think that we'd be in re-education camps if she won, because I think they would have a hard time building them, because you'd have to get with the do and the do with the getting, and the getting is good when the jive turkey talking with the thing, you know, should still be word salading to this day about that. Too busy talking about it to get anything done. Mucho habla, no trabajo. I think they're too stupid. They wouldn't have been able to get anything together. They had to rely on somebody to do it, and it would have never got done. And that's one of those things where if they go that far, they can nudge us. They can nudge us. They can nudge us. That's why we still have guns. Okay. They can just keep just fraction, right? They can't just go after it. They can just keep chipping away at it. Oh, there was a bad thing that happened here because of these things. Well, we're going to strip away those things so you can't have them there. So that way that can't happen again. Rather than putting these things in the hands of good guys there to stop that from happening when it starts. No, can't have that. Instead, we're just going to keep chipping away, keep chipping away, keep chipping away, because then we'll never notice it. If we take and during the pandemic, they took away how much of our freedom and how much of our rights that they're not supposed to be doing under the Constitution. But then they only gave us so much back. Well, if they take away 50%, but then when they give back stuff they can't even take to begin with, but then they give back, they only give back 45%. We've lost 5%, but we don't even pay attention to that because we got 45 back of the 50. So we lost more than we gained, but we don't even see it because we're too busy worrying about being able to go and watch my sports ball. Too upset because we can't go about our daily existences and bread and circuses. We got our bread and circuses back. So we're just happy about that. That's where we're at with those guys. Oh, you hit it right there, Covert. Zoran Mamdani, the man who was groomed by the Obama war camp. I don't know if you knew that or not. Yeah, Mamdani was groomed in by the Obama war camp to do what he's doing. He is sponsored by the Muslim Brotherhood. But there is a weird tie going on there with another group that's over in that area too, that have the smaller hats. They don't wear the turbans, they wear the smaller hats. They don't wear the big headdresses, they wear the smaller hats. There's some kind of weird romance going on there, a weird, like, we're only going to work together right now because I hate the goys and you hate the infidels. We're going to work together to whatever means, to whatever end. But then we're going to part ways, and, whoever, kind of like watching a Royal Rumble, and, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant team up until it's them two in the end for the big finale. That's kind of like what we're seeing with him and some other people along the way too. But like, he came in just so much fire and all this and all that, and then he fell out of the freaking news cycles. He was in there and then fell right out. I mean, who was his biggest competitor? Tackle Nips, freaking Bass Pro Shops himself. They killed Grandma, right? Of course, he's not going to win. But yet again, like most states, couple cities dictate what the state has to choke down. So I think there's more to see with him coming up, because within the first few days, the Islamists there were pushing and really trying to like pound on people about Sharia law, and it wasn't flying very well. There was a lot of stuff going on that was not hitting mainstream news. There were people standing up and not putting up with the shit. And that's the thing, is you hear people say about it being a religion of peace, and it's just praying and blah, blah, blah. I got some guys over here in the chat that will definitely argue the point that that's not a religion of peace and love and joy and happiness and praying, right? Just saying. That's the thing, Twin. They don't know because they're ignorant. They're ignorant because somebody tries to tell them what's real and factual, but their daytime talk shows tell them otherwise, or their favorite TikTok chick or their favorite social media person are telling them something different than what you or I would say firsthand knowledge. We're wrong. We got a phobe thrown at us, or an ist, or a mick thrown at us, and we're terrible people. They're right. We're wrong. And it's one of those things I've talked about. I talked about this on the podcast in one of my last episodes I did. We can look at places like NYC and say, meh, it's a crap hole anyway. Who cares? I care. I do. Because last time I checked, that's still US soil. That is still US soil. And I know some gentlemen here in this chat that also took same oath I did, foreign and domestic. That's domestic. That's not supposed to be happening. That's not supposed to go down that way. What we're seeing happening around our country is not what it's supposed to be. That's not how it should be. We are supposed to be eradicating that. I am not one for calling for certain actions or anything, but I do know an amazing man, a great man, the greatest man that ever lived, that flipped tables, big, massive tables. Like we're talking like Captain America strength to flip how big these tables were. And this meek man was flipping these massive tables because of what was wrong. What man was doing wrong. He also said about something about selling your cloak and buying a sword, forging your plowshares into swords, turning the other cheek. But turning the other cheek is not what you are led to believe. Let's bring me to something else here that I was talking about in Jay's chat. Turning the other cheek doesn't mean you just turn a blind eye to it and let them get away with it. Turning the other cheek was actually one of these to whoever was attacking you. Smack with the right hand. We'll turn the other cheek, so then that way they have to use their left hand to smack you, which was derogatory to them. Right? So, in essence, okay, you smack me, you hurt me, you infringe upon me, you tread on me, and I'm doing this to you by turning my cheek. That's what that meant. Not, oh, well, I'll just let them hit the other cheek too. No, that's a big FU in that culture back then. Twin, you're not wrong. Twin, you're not wrong. I went on episode 47 and I blew that up with that fact of how the Pharisees and the Sadducees were running everything back during the establishment of the new covenant with Jesus, right? Not meaning to get into talk of faith. I'm meaning to get into talk of faith because it's directly correlates with what we see today. These Pharisees and Sadducees were running everything. It wasn't God's law at the time. It was their version of God's law to benefit them. Look at how Judas was. Judas was a businessman, and he gave up Jesus for 30 gold piece or 30 silver pieces, right? Anything for that money. Greed. Much the same now. During that time, the rise of Christianity, Christians were persecuted. If you followed Christ, you were persecuted. You were hunted down and burned in the streets of Rome. You were like put up on pedestals and burned after you were flogged. I mean, it was bad. But those Pharisees and Sadducees just kept getting to do what they were doing. Meanwhile, Christianity is being persecuted and all this and all that, truly persecuted. So those Pharisees and Sadducees running that empire of Zionism kept doing what they were doing. They used the guise of blame Rome because Romans did it. They did it. Wasn't us. We didn't do nothing. Oh, no, we didn't do it. You did. You did. And then you're the ones that were persecuting the Christians. You're the ones that got the Romans to persecute the Christians. You're the ones that were trying to kill all that. and you saw how the Protestant movement was going, protesting against you and trying to rise up. And so what did you do? You you kind of got in there and you twisted some things up and you messed with some things. And you got this really big group that was backed with a lot of money and a lot of power and influence. And you got them to establish a militant order of religious zealots known as the Jesuits to go after Christians and stomp out the Protestant movement. It's factual history. Do some homework. It's there. Catch up with chat here. 2236. Yes. Totally true, Covert. And here's where I was kind of talking in Jay's live. How do I put this? Religion is a construct of man to create division. Faith is something instilled into us by divination for us to have faith, for us to worship as we see. Religion is the construct of man that says, oh, well, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here. Just look at the Christian faith, as I air quote. Look at all the different denominations just in Christianity alone. Well, you know what? I don't totally agree with that because I believe in pre-trib, or I believe in the little season, or I believe in post-trib, or I believe in this, or I believe in that. So we're going to take and we're going to create our own denomination. That's literally what happened. And it just kept branching out and branching out and branching out until we have all the offshoots out there. Hey, twin, he's admitted it. Mike Huckabee said it. Mark Levin said it. I mean, yeah, and Dangerous, when it comes to it, it's being born into sin is, well, we're born into this world and this world is filled with it. So in essence, we kind of are not us ourselves because we had not like we said, yep, here we go. We're charging through. We're going to create ourselves. No, but we're born into this environment of sin. But through his blood and his stripes, I am forgiven, of all that I have done. Guys, I'm getting a spam call. This is how I answer spam call, guys. My name's Jeff. That's how you take care of a spam caller. But I think it's kind of interesting with all of this going on. We got now Kash Patel and Dan Bongos are both kind of they're both looking for the door. At least from what I've been reading for the last however long. They're talking about getting out of it. So I think that's kind of interesting. When it comes to like the AI stuff, let's lean into Terminator here, folks, because Terminator actually has some truth in it and some wisdom in it, believe it or not. Terminator teaches us that Genesis is Skynet. But Terminator has also taught us that Legion is Skynet. What did we just have written, penned out by the Golden Dawn? The Genesis mission. Prior to that, we had the Genius Act saying you can't mess with crypto. No, we're doing crypto. We're doing this. It's going to be this. It's going to be this stable coin. We're going to regulate all of this and all that, right? But in the big, beautiful bill, we had you states cannot question how the federal government does what they do with AI. Then we have this Genesis mission to push AI into every aspect of the US military, which is what Legion was in the Terminator Dark Fate movie. The other one was Genesis, but they're both ended up basically being Skynet. Like, there's a lot of weird correlation with that whole thing and what we're actually seeing right now. Everything is fake and gay. It is just fake and gay. Have you ever wondered? Well, no, you probably haven't, but have you noticed how the vast majority of your television ads are about pharmaceutical manufacturers or dealing with a medication allegedly from pharmaceutical manufacturers? Most of your TV commercials anymore are. I don't have TV here at the house. Like, we have TVs. We just don't have service like cable or satellite or anything like that. We just pick what we want to watch when we want to watch it, and that's about it. Sometimes TV won't get turned on for like weeks. But when I'm at work, there's a TV in the break room with the TV in the break room with like antenna signal on it. My coworker throws on the noonday news and all that and watches Family Feud, whatever. I'll go in to heat up a lunch or something like that, and I see it on, and sure enough, every damn commercial is about pharmaceuticals. Why are they trying to sell us pharmaceuticals? I thought we had Maha with RFK Jr. coming in to wipe out the seed oils and get rid of the red dyes. And you shouldn't have to take a vaccine. Vaccines aren't good for you. Right? We had all that coming in. He was campaigning on that when he was trying to run for POTUS. And then, okay, he's going to be the head of the NIH and head of whatever the F he is now. But now he's pushing a different tune. The Golden Dawn just met up with the pharmaceutical companies here a while back, and now we're going to have Ozempic. It's going to be a lot cheaper for people, helping a lot of people. The same stuff that has been proven to cause XYZ PDQ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to cause organ failures and all kinds of stuff and everything else. We're going to make it cheaper for people to get it. It's going to help a lot of people. What? End their lives sooner? That's exactly it, Covert. Don't get healthy. Don't eat better. Don't drink better. Don't take vitamins and minerals that are actually going to help you. Don't get exercise. Don't get sleep. Don't do anything for your mental well being. Don't do anything for your spiritual well being. Don't do anything for your emotional well being. No, no, no. You know what we're going to do? We're going to give you this and take those. And whenever you die, we'll just like prescribe it to somebody else. But we're going to charge you even more because we made that squiggle for you to go pay to take stuff to make you worse. Okay, buddy. Yes, you will live in the pod, you will own nothing and be happy, you will eat the budge. I got something for you to eat. Johnny Depp's cooking it after that burrito. Calling in reinforcements. That thing didn't do nothing for me. Time for a Red Bull. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm talking about health and I'm drinking this crap, but hey, it's my splurge for now. But no, we get all this crap thrown at us. They create an illusion. And there he is. Say his name and he shall appear. And I don't mean Joe Hendry. I'm talking about Mr. ACR Protect. He is back. I just said here a bit ago that they can eat whatever. And I was like, yeah, they can eat whatever Johnny Depp is cooking after he ate that burrito. And then there he showed up. Yep. Yep. A lot of wisdom. A lot of wisdom there with John E. Depp. I'd say equally amount of wisdom with Girth Brooks as well. I mean, those guys are packing some stuff, let me tell you. But this whole thing of the two factions, the two extremes, be easy on either side, right? Like we had said earlier on, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. So that way we keep fighting ourselves while they gain more control. Why must they have control anyway? Seriously, what do they need control for? They shouldn't be controlling anything. They shouldn't. There should be nothing they control in our lives. They're to literally do bare minimum of what they need to do it effectively, do it well. They don't have to go to the earth, moon, sun, and stars. Just do a good job at what they're doing. I don't expect the kid at freaking Walmart who's bagging groceries. I don't expect them to put everything in the cart for us and take it out and load it in and then follow us home and then take it into the house and put everything away for it. No, you just got to ring the stuff up and drop it in the bags and do it a good job at it. That's all we need. That's what Walmart's paying him to do. He doesn't have to go above and beyond. Just do what you're supposed to do and do a good job at it. Right? But we're given the illusion of, oh, this or that, this or that. If you're not this, then you're that. Like I said, there's how many of us in the middle? If you look at a bun on a burger, you got that much bun and that much burger, but how much is in the middle? We don't necessarily always eat the burger for the bun. I mean, there are some damn good buns out there. But we eat it for the burger. How good the burger is. It's not necessarily the bun. It's that illusion and control. But why do they have control? And why do we have to vote for a lesser of two evils? That's something that Jay said, and I've often wondered is why we have to vote for an evil at all. Right? Well, you had the Golden Dawn and you had the Timu Jamaican, right? Why are we having to vote for lesser evils? We shouldn't be having to vote for evil at all. There shouldn't be. I pray for the POTUS. I pray for his cabinet. I pray for everybody in positions of doing things in our nation. I want them to succeed. I want them to do a good job. I want them to do everything that they were put in that position to do and do right by us, do right by each other, and do right by God. I pray for Trump. I prayed for FJB. I hope they do good. I want them to do good. I don't want them to fail. But why are we having to vote for an evil? Why? Dangerous Freedoms, you take care, brother. Thanks for stopping in, man. I got a proposal here. Got a proposal. Why aren't people in positions of power, as I air quote, positions of power, control, whatever you want to call it? They think it's control. We say they're in positions of power, the elites, our Congress, our Senate, our all these positions. Why aren't they paid like 45,000 a year? They have to pay for their health insurance, they have to pay for their retirement, they have to pay for everything just the same as you and I do. I will say, okay, if my representative, unfortunately, I have John Fetterman, the Pennsylvania orc, taxpayers from Pennsylvania, we pay to have in our area, we pay to have Fetterman travel to DC to do his job. We pay for him to get home. I can understand that. Just like a company covering your expense when you have to travel somewhere. Totally get it. I'd be okay with that. But if any of them who are to be working for their constituents, or anybody who is appointed to an office, anybody who is voted into an office, are caught making deals with lobbyists, the APAC and all that kind of crap. Well, no, not even APAC, just like pharmaceutical companies and this one and that one. If they're caught making deals or doing any trading whatsoever, then I think if they're caught making deals and they are proven pulled from that position, another election is held, somebody's put in that position to take over for them, and boom, that person's arrested. They're sitting in front of a judge, due process and all. If they are found guilty of doing said taking money or doing anything, they lose a freaking hand. They lose a hand. Live streamed out to the nation. Guy out there with the axe and just boom, right like that. Drops that axe right on that hand. How many of them do you think are going to want to go around losing hands or even risk losing a hand? Right? If it's bad enough, then capital punishment. Okay. Now, if they're caught dealing with foreign entities, they're caught dealing with foreign entities. Same principle applies, everything all the way up to they're arrested, they're held for trial, jury of their peers, jury of we the people. If we find that they are guilty, that person doing the foreign trading, like with APAC and all those guys, and dealing with taking money from outside this nation for foreign interest groups, they should face the death penalty immediately, capital punishment. And not only that, they should, I don't know, all of their assets be seized and given back to their constituents. And yeah, also, their immediate family gets life in prison. Anybody they're dealing with, friends, family, anybody that's dealing with that, say, Covert's my boy. Y'all know that. So I'm the guy in the position, and I'm dealing with Covert because he's dealing with somebody in Fucktardistan. Okay. And Fucktardistan is channeling money to me to get me to do this through Covert. Even though he's not in that position, he should get life in prison. Extreme, yes. But how many would do those things if the penalties were stiff for them getting caught doing this stuff? If they are found to have done this stuff, boom, drop it on them. This is what you get, 45K a year. We pay for you to travel. You get no special quarter, no special treatment because you're sitting in that position. That's your job. You're sitting in that position because the people put you there to do that job. You wanted to do that job. You stepped up to do that job. You ran on a platform to go do that job. Now do the damn job. This is what it takes. Hooah. Okay. I'm going to keep it straight and narrow because I don't want to lose one of these. And frankly, I don't want my family to have a life in prison. I don't want to face the death penalty if I'm convicted. I th- I think I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Back in the day, Jay talked about it a little bit. Back in the day, our representatives, they were blacksmiths, they were farmers, they were physicians, they were lawyers, they were teachers, they were millers, they were fishermen. They were your average mechanics, whatever. They went and they did that job. They wanted to go, they wanted to do their job, they wanted to get it done, they wanted to do what's right by our nation, by the rest of us people, because they lived daily lives. They didn't live in the ivory tower in a gilded cage. They had to deal with us plebes every damn day. So they didn't want to make a decision or do something that we were going to hold them accountable every day. So they did what was right. But when they were in office doing what they needed to do, they could not wait to get back home to be pounding on that iron. They could not wait to be back in the farm field running the plows. They could not wait to be back baking the bread or doing whatever they were doing in their normal life. Because back then, they made more money and provided better for their families with what they did in their daily life versus what they were getting paid by the government to go do that. Back then, that was like actually a respected thing to do. Hence where the whole civic duty thing came from. They'd rather do their daily life than do that. But when they do that, they're going to do it to the best of their ability, then get back to their normal life where they could actually provide for their family. Because while they're gone doing the government things, they're not doing anything at home. They're not getting stuff done around the house. Imagine the honeydew list they had back then when they got back. Like, oh my gosh, you know, I got to put a new wall in the barn or whatever, and had a wagon wheel fall off and all. Think all the stuff they had to go through back then. That honeydew list. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't want to be off. They wanted to be home doing that shit. So they did what they had to do. They did it well. So they didn't have to take more crap than a portable shitter, as ACR would say, when they got back. Because, okay, I go and I do a terrible job and I do something that's going to mess things up for my people back home, and I go back home. Do you think they're going to take kindly to me? Hey, the guy from Delaware gave me $500 to do this. Well, how does that help them? No, it doesn't. It actually hurts them. It makes it so that their area, they're going to have to pay more tax now because of what I did. Exactly, Pilgrim. No gated community. No gated community back then. Okay, LL Cool J. But flat out, that's what we need to do. If we do end up, not if, I say if, but when we end up having to deal with the consequences of having to do the things, we need to look at that hard moving forward. After the reset, as some were talking earlier, we'd have to look hard at that because that's something that puts them on the hot seat and it holds them accountable and puts their feet to the fire. It's been far too long since anybody's been held accountable because, well, we pay for their private security and their gated communities and all their entourages to follow them everywhere and everything else. We don't get a say. We are supposed to be a constitutional representative republic. However, we're not being represented. And the one of the big things that was going around during the signing of the Declaration of Independence and our revolution here in America was no taxation without representation. And that is what we're facing now. Taxation, but we're not being represented. Those so-called representatives are acting on their own interests or acting for a foreign interest, or they're acting for a lobby group. They're not acting for you and I. They're doing what their handlers are telling them to do. And I hate to say it, but much so is the Golden Dawn. I mean, it's pretty clear. If you can't see that, I got nothing for you, man. I got nothing for you. I don't know what to tell you. They did go to war over a 3% tax. It was like 3 or 4. Something small and minuscule. However, now we are taxed to, some say like 40 some percent, some say like 70%, some actually claim 80 some percent is what we are actually taxed till you figure it all out with your income crap, your property taxes, gas tax, taxes at the stores, anything you buy, anything you sell, when you die, when you anything. You're taxed at every point. We've talked about this before, but where I work, all the places I have ever worked, never once have I seen any of these governments, local, state, or federal, ever show up and work a shift. If they are, I have never seen them. They're an absentee employee. They must be working from remote or something back before there was such a thing as working remote. Because I have never seen them show up to work a shift. When I had to do all that storm wire this past year, I never once saw them show up to help with a single inch, let alone any of it. Lark, we will catch you later, brother. Take care of yourself, man. I'll be talking to you. But turning to people funding the puppets that make handlers richer, absolutely spot on, man. Absolutely spot on. I myself have done a lot of like diving into history. When I did the podcast episodes, I immersed myself for quite a while. And I'm kind of a history buff and a nerd that way. I get into that stuff and I'm like autistic and just like if y'all seen Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, Sam's going through the book like in like 42 seconds and learns everything about the physics class. It's like, oh, it's a great book, but here's the problem. And he goes up there and just yeah, I got into it like that. And there were certain things back then. Mind you, one of my grandfathers was a signer of the Declaration of Independence. There were things back then called marks of indenture, meaning you owe somebody something, you put your mark, your signature on that document saying I owe Jacob 2A $20 for a beer. Making this up hypothetical for the example. So I put a mark of indenture on that document saying that I owe Jacob $20 for that beer. Much the same happened with taxes back then. They would, landowners and everything else, business owners, if you own land, you would put your mark of indenture on your deed saying you will give X amount of your tithe, your money to the government, whether it be your local or state or federal or whatever. They all started getting in there and you had marks of indenture. I personally, this guy right here, this stupid dude wearing the SIG hat and the Sawman shirt with a beard, I have never put a mark of indenture on any document with any type of government entity saying that I owe them one single fraction of a dime, one single fraction of a penny that no longer exists for anything. They provide me personally with nothing, yet charge me for everything. I cannot find a document that exists lawfully that has that mark of indenture on it. Weird. Just weird. But yet, if I don't give them their extortion money, no, I get you, Pilgrim. I get you there. I don't have like I have talked to different representatives here in the state, and I said, is there a lawful document with my name and my mark of indenture on it saying I am indentured, meaning I have to pay them X percentage of my income? No, they're like, they look at me like, what the fuck, dude? Like I was like, I had three heads and two of them were Smurfs, right? Never put my mark of indenture on any of that. Never have they showed up to my work to collect pay. But if I don't pay them that extortion money, then I'm in trouble. But here's a fun fact. If I show up to my employer and I work 8, 10 hours, whatever, they are compensating me for my time and my labor that I am giving them, right? I'm giving that to that company or to that business owner. That is compensation. My pay, that income is pay in compensation for my time and my labors. Why do they call it an income tax? I'm not making anything. I am getting repaid for the time I am investing with them. I am giving them my labor and I am giving them that for this amount of money. Deep thoughts with Jack Hand. You have real talk with TinMan-Metal. You damn right you do. Oh yeah. And if you don't like it, break out that pucker powder, baby. But the whole birth certificate thing, there was I did some delving into that, and I had actually had. I know it sounds strange. I actually had some good conversation with some of those people that did the whole sovereign citizen thing, and I completely stumped them with it. I can't remember the entire conversations, but the moral of the story was something with the birth certificate is there is supposedly, for those who don't know, there's a supposedly like your birth certificate number is tied to your value or something, and so on and so forth, that you yourself are a commodity that is traded on a market for your personal value. Now, let's be real. Sister Krista, good to see you, girl. How is it that somebody has a value from birth? Because of the family they come from, because of the area they live. I mean, if you ask my parents when I was born, the moment I was born, I came charging out. What's your value on that child? What will he do in his life? Stuff. He's going to do some stuff. That's about it. That's all they could say. They don't know. Our paths are not paved. Well, some people's are. And they're usually the ones that are at the top of that Ponzi scheme. But there's no value at that point that can be actually put into a monetary amount. Right, but how do they determine that value? That's what those sovereign citizens could not tell me. They were completely stumped. They'd say, "Oh, well, it's the value of what you're going to be able to produce throughout your life." And I was like, "Okay, how much is that?" Well, it all depends on the person and all this. I'm like, yeah, but then there is actually exactly nobody knows. That's the thing, Krista. Nobody knows. I just asked the question, then what is the dollar amount of each person? It's like Travolta standing there in that gif, man. Like, You know, nobody can answer that, whether they're in the sovereign community or not. Nobody can answer that. Okay, then why is it that I am expected to do this and do that, but you don't have a value? You don't have a value. There is no dollar amount for each human life. There isn't. No way. Each of us are unique. Each of us are worth more than any money in this world. For them to put a value, apples to apples value, on a human life from birth, that doesn't make any kind of sense. Okay, this is little Jimmy. He's born decent family. His dad's an engineer. His mom was a school teacher. Okay, we're going to value him at 25 million. Okay. How? But Jimmy ends up not going the same path as that. And Jimmy, well, he does Walmart delivery orders for a living for his whole life, right? Is his value still 25,000? Okay, but Jimmy then instead didn't go that path. Jimmy ended up becoming a brain surgeon. Well, his value is now 75 million or 175 million. Do we change our values? You know, it's stuff that nobody could answer. Nobody could answer it. So it's a hard thing to like be like, yes, no, because there's no answer. There is no answer to it. But I think that we're on some railroad tracks right now. I think that we are heading course in a direction, and there's no veering off this way or the other with a switch. We're going into it, whether we want to or not. We are being forced down that track. We know that we're going that direction. We prepare going in that direction. But what do we prepare for? Well, we're getting clues. We are getting clues all along that railroad track, right? The Golden Dawn just came out with this whole thing of like the Patriot games, right? Very much so like the Hunger Games. I was listening to Bard's FM here the other day, and Scott Kesterson was he did an overlay, or somebody he had played a clip of an overlay of the damn arms acting up today. It's all tight and like a knot. But he did an overlay of Trump talking about the Patriot games where they're going to take two kids from every state and bring them together and then have like this big sports thing, kind of like an Olympics kind of deal. And the way he was talking about it and the way that they were talking about it in the Hunger Games, like the speeches, like as you play Trump's part and then play their part and then play their part and then play Trump's part, it was like this, the speechwriter for Trump literally got it from the Hunger Games. And how they're structuring it is very freaking similar too. They kind of like tell you what they're doing before they do it. And we're seeing that more and more and more. It's happening. If you're paying attention, you see it. We know the digital currency is becoming a thing, right? It's becoming a thing. We also see the US dollar being tanked more so every day. Why do you think they're spending so freaking much and printing so much more? Devalue the dollar. If one system crashes, the current US dollar that we use now, they have to crash that system first before they can raise up the other system. Here's why. If we have a secondary or a tertiary option, we don't want your stupid freaking UBIs, the CBDC shit. We're going to keep on the US dollar. Go F yourself, casual, right? We stay on that system. We tell them go F themselves. They can't get anywhere with it. So they have to tank the US dollar first before they rise up the digital. They're making it seem, oh, it's so cool, it's so convenient, it's so easy, blah, blah, blah. It'd be right on your phone. Anywhere you go, power goes out, internet goes out, something happens. Sorry, I can't pay with my phone. I can't pay with my watch. I can't pay with my little digital hickey. Their systems are down. Oh my gosh, I can't get food. I can't pay my bills. If I still had the US dollar, I could pay my bills. I could write a check. I could pay cash. They don't want that. They can't track and trace the US dollar in the cash form. Even though they have the numbers on it and stuff, they're not going to be able to trace that. How many strippers' G strings do you think $20 bill up there has been in till I got it from the time it was printed? Who knows? They don't know if it was in Mindy, Brandy, Sandy, Amber, Cinnamon, Peaches. They don't know whose G string it was in. They don't know where it's been, where it's going, who has it, when they have it. But if I have that digital thing, oh, they can tell everywhere I got that. Everything was behind schedule. You're correct, Krista. Everything was behind schedule until the 24 election. Because now we have Palantir on board. We have all the tech bros on board. We have all the crypto bros on board. We have Musk out there toting the line. They've got everything in place and they're kicking into high gear. Why do you think states can't question AI? Stablecoin, Genius Act, it's a thing now. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. And I think it's funny, Musk comes out and he talks about, well, we're not even going to be trading in money. We're not going to be dealing with money or as we know it now. No, we're going to be dealing with time. We're going kind of like the movie, was it called Just in Time or something like that? It was I think cool concept and everything. Like you have a counter under your skin and it tells you exactly how much time you have left before you die. Well, you can add minutes, hours, whatever. You pay for things with time off of your life, those kind of things. That's kind of like what he was kind of trying to allude to a little bit. But he's saying Justin Timberlake, another one of the idiots. He was talking about we're going to be paid so much money that we're not even going to worry about it. We're not going to have to worry about anything. We're going to have so much money. Kind of sounded like Trump. He was Musk, not me. Because, I do the Trump. Gonna have a lot of money. So much money. So many monies. People are going to be like, sir, why do we have so much money? Take my money back. I don't want so much money. But he's pushing to that thing where we're going to have so much money, we're not going to have to worry about things. That, with the stable coin and everything else, sounds exactly like the universal basic income. Interesting. Have you noticed how the vehicle manufacturers keep dwindling down? Houses. I've worked around construction for a very long time, and houses have become more cookie cutter, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. They're really pushing for subdivision, really pushing for PJ style condos and homes and all that kind of stuff. Big push for it. Big push for it. None of us really ever get a plot of land that we can actually do anything with, like back in the day. And Pilgrim Bitcoin was crashing a few days ago. It was after Trump had pushed the stable coin as the government backed one. Yeah, 15-minute cities. But Sister Krista, the Golden Dawn says they're patriot cities. They're going to be patriot cities. We're going to make 11 of them. They're going to be great. Everything you could want or need within 15 minutes of walking. It's a patriot city. So Maga's going, oh, gargling them. Whereas the rest of us walk in that middle, not one of the extremes where it's easy. We're walking the middle. We see it and we're like, wait a minute. He said Patriot City, but he literally just described the definition of a 15-minute city. We get it. The other two guys, they don't. We no longer will have prisons, so to speak. We're going to be living in a free range prison because our tags are going to be with us at all times. If they don't want me going a county or two over to go visit covert, oh my, they're going to shut down my vehicle. They're going to lock my accounts, follow me every way. And if I step right outside of my county, they're going to get me. They're going to get me. I just will not get into the crypto stuff. I know there are people out there that will do it and have talked about it and yeah, going to make a quick buck doing this, that, or the other, or whatever. I'm just not going to go there. I don't feel comfortable with it. Not in the least. To me, it's made up. It's fake. It's just something that somebody made up. Like, I would rather trade in Sharpie pens. I would rather trade in buttons and bottle caps. And, I would rather use that as currency than something imaginary, because that pen, that bottle cap, that button, I can hold that. That's physically something in my possession. Nobody can say you can't have that and magically just make it disappear. SHTF, I can't use this or whatever to pay for things, right? Yeah, refrigerator coffee mate gonna rat you out. Freaking Decepticons. And with spending all the money, like I was saying here a while ago, kind of derailed here for a bit, but they're spending all that money to tank the US dollar so they can rise up this crypto crap and institute the UBI. My dude came out the other day and was talking about AI and robots and all this kind of stuff in manufacturing, and they're gonna need a lot of jobs, gonna need a lot of people, and need a lot of robots. More and more. Back to Terminator. We saw robots taking over people's jobs right there in the movie and in the plant. But we're going to be having more AI and more robots taking people's jobs. But we've created more jobs. All the jobs we've created, so many jobs. I got a job for you. But we're going to need that. But wait, huh? Those bots and AI are going to take over jobs. Wait a minute. Again, wait a minute. We're going to have this digital takeover in the jobs. People are going to be without jobs. But we've created jobs. The economy's so great. It's so awesome. The grocery bills are so low. They're so low. No. But then we're going to compound that by introducing more of that digital world, Skynet. We're putting more Skynet in place, more Legion in place. Legion, biblical. We're going to put more of that in place. Less jobs. Well, you know what? We're going to have, because y'all lost your jobs. It's okay. You just stay home. We're going to give you $150,000 a year to basically reenact the movie WALL-E, the human element of the movie WALL-E. You're going to sit in your chair. You're going to float around with the screen in front of your face. You're going to be eating the same stuff. And whenever the screen tells you that, oh, red is the new blue, you're going to hit the button and pay however much of that 150,000 UBI to change your sweatsuit a different color. Oh, well, now blue is the new red. Well, I got to switch back now. We're on that path. That's what we're looking at, is that UBI. What can we do to keep ourselves going without having to deal with that? talking about it a little bit right there with the metals. We can hedge with metals, silvers, golds, whatever you can afford, even copper. I'm here to tell you, if you can get copper, copper is used in a crap ton of different stuff in the world. All of this stuff around me has copper, electrical wiring, pipes, different components in this computer, the mic, the light, the phone, this fan behind me, copper and everything. Copper is another one that they aren't really talking about a whole heck of a lot because it doesn't have the value of the silver and the gold and palladium and platinum and all that. No, copper's lesser value, but it's more widely used. That's another one, is hedging what you have to move forward with those types of metals because they're real, they're tangible. You can freaking hold them. You can control them. Silver, when I started this podcast, it was at $76.28 an ounce. That was for your regular silver rounds. For the premium finished rounds, they were going for $81.54. Now, that basic round, that silver spot price right there at $77.42. Look how much it's gone up just in the last 2 hours that I've been doing this live stream. Yeah. But they got to crash one to raise the other. They were originally, like Chris had said, it was talk of them trying to put our money back on the gold standard. That was something that I originally saw whenever the whole Q psyop, Q-tards were going into it. They were really pushing that whole thing of Nasera, Jacera, and all of this and all that, and so on and so forth. And we're going to be on the gold standard and everything else. Not even the case. If you look at that whole psyop thing with that whole Q movement, and they talk about that Nasera and Jacera shit, what is that but a universal basic income that the Agenda 2030, the WEF, NWO, it's the same freaking thing. It's that whole 15-minute city, Freedom City, Patriot City. Same thing. Just Silverado or a GMC Sierra. It's the same freaking truck. Yeah, precious metals are typically up during the holidays. They do tend to see a bit of a spike, but then they drop down a little bit and they kind of level out just after the first of the year. But I don't think we're going to see that because of what they're doing. The further they tank the dollar, the more that price is going to jump up. So we're not really going to see that much of a fall off if we see one at all this time around, because they need that US dollar to fall off so they can promote that digital BS right with it. Why do you think they're throwing all that money to Israel, throwing all that money to Ukraine, throwing all that money down into Argentina? Why do you think these defense bills are so big? War bills are so big. Why do you think they're constantly throwing money around like it's going out of style? It's because they want to tank that dollar, because the more they spend, remember how government works. This pen is an $80 pen. I paid like $1 for it, but it's an $80 pen on paper because I have to meet my budget of $100K a year. Because if I don't meet that budget of $100K a year, then I'm not going to get $100K the next year. So they keep playing that game. Well, the more they spend, what does that mean? The more they can print. The more that they're able to print through the Fed, guess what? The dollar goes down, but the gold and the silver go up. Just like I said, you have your little guy here. This little guy is worth $2. Said it in the beginning. So the guy's worth $2. Well, if my value of my $2 is decreased because I had to print more, it was worth 2, but now because of how much it's decreased, it's worth 4. Hence inflation. It's not necessarily inflation. It's not that the price of this goes up. It's the price of what you pay doesn't carry as much weight. So you're paying twice as much for the same thing. They've also hedged it by that whole thing of shrinkflation. Notice how your party size bags of potato chips and stuff have gotten smaller. Your family size have gotten smaller. Now your regular bags are like the lunch size bags. Same thing. They're tanking that dollar so they can raise their CBDC, so they can get that UBI going. They have to drop that system because otherwise we're gonna keep going to the US dollar. We're gonna keep spending and trading in US dollars as a society. We're not gonna jump to that. There will be plenty of people that do, but we're not gonna do it. So then we're gonna be the bad guys. If they take that away from us and they tank that dollar that it's not worth anything, we're gonna have to jump over there. I'm gonna have to. Oh, they're totally burying money everywhere. I mean, I think a lot of it with getting rid of the penny spoke volumes to me because though they no longer print the penny, why are we still seeing prices that include the penny? Derivatives of one, you know, 54, 55. Well, we can get 55 with a nickel and a dime. Yeah. Okay, we can get this and that, but we can't get 99. We can't get 44. There's derivatives, and something has to be divisible by 5 or 10, you know, because we don't have a 1 anymore. We can't get up to 4. It's only 5. You know what I mean? Like it isn't mathing out why they would get rid of the penny. It doesn't benefit us to print the or coin or mint the penny anymore because its value is so low. How did its value get that low? If they weren't tanking the dollar, how did the penny's value decrease to the point that they got rid of it? I can't wrap my head around that one. Without them tanking the economy, that penny would still have at least 1 cent value. But it's copper, which we use in a lot of things, like I just said here a little bit ago. Why doesn't it have more value? It's a bunch of stuff that make you go, And I'm not a fan of not a fan of it. Not a fan of it. But using those metals for what we can now to hedge against that other stuff. Bartering. Whatever we can do with bartering. I've talked about it before on the podcast. I've mentioned it here on my lives before. Having stuff that you can trade back and forth with your community is going to go a long way. Going to go a very long way. Screws, zip ties, tape, nails, lumber, whatever, you know, like hardware store kind of crap, right? That's going to go a long way to keeping you going daily. How many times you have the neighbor, oh, hey, you got a cup of sugar? Hey, you got a cup of flour? Hey, can I get a quarter cup of salt? You know, cost of making a penny, 4 to 5 cents. Exactly. Value went down, but the cost still increases because the value went down, the cost went up. Yeah, exactly, Covert. I dropped my dollar pen, my $80 pen. Yeah, I mean, if it's like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, they're like, man, whatever. So if let's Office Space this for a second, folks. I'm sure some of you have seen the movie Office Space. Rounding to the fractions of a penny, and then all those remainders get dropped off, and they collect them all, and they end up with a bunch of money. If the company that you're paying rounds off and it's like, whatever, we're not worried about it, how much of that is actually out there that they can then write off as loss? So when they want to make it appear as though they're actually taking a huge hit and the economy's down and all this, they can pull on that data from those fractions of transactions. Oh, our company took such a huge hit this year. Oh my word. We lost how many millions of dollars? We don't see it because it's those 1, 2, 3, 4 cent transactions, pieces of transactions that fall off, that they just meh, but it's still calculated because they have to account for every freaking penny. Literally, since they don't exist, but they still have to account for them. Their loss, they're going to write it up as a loss. And if they want to put it out there as we took such a huge hit, this company, that company, all the companies, hey, the economy's so terrible right now. Oh my gosh, we've taken such a huge hit. We're losing money. We're going to have to lay off people and bring in more robots and AI to cover the work. And it's just such a terrible thing. Yep, exactly, Pilgrim. Some years ago, I worked with a company doing managed network service and IT stuff and did IT consulting. And one of the things I did was work with EMV, dealing with the credit card machines and all that kind of stuff. And man, yeah, not they charge you 99 cents a month, but then they rip you how much in the back end. Yeah. Yeah, trying to get companies to do right by people when it comes to those things, good luck. They don't. Yeah, they do add up real quick. I mean, I saved change for like quite a while, and I ended up buying a new TV with it. I bought the 65 that I have in my living room. Not a high end one. It's a Vizio. It's a nice TV. Well, on paper it's a nice TV, but it's possessed. And I will be blowing it up with Tannerite, and I will be recording it, and I will post it to the YouTubes when I do get a new one and blow it up. But yeah, I bought that TV with change from jars, man. Rolled out the coins, took it to the bank, got cash money for it, went, bought my TV, and that was that. But yeah, this whole fractional, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into fractional banking. I'm not getting into that today. That'll be for another day. Um, but yeah, you kind of see where I'm going with all this. We're on that train, on that track. There's no veering off. We're just steady as she goes. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Pilgrim. Hold the coins, man. Hold those coins. Even if anything, okay, the pennies. If you need to make some wire, you need something copper. Copper melts pretty low, so you can melt it down and re-manipulate it pretty fairly easy, especially if it's softer on copper. But yes, hold on to that. Hold on to that coinage, the precious metals. If you get older, um, it was circa 1960s. The pennies were actually still made from copper at that point. Then they started doing the zinc with copper plating. That copper, Dom, good to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us. If you get newer pennies, they are zinc with copper plating, but that copper plating will melt off, drip out into a drip pan. You can even, mix your stuff up, make yourself some bronze, do whatever you got to do from there. But might be helpful to study some metallurgy too. Just saying, get some stuff and figure out how to, you know, mix some metals and refine metals and things like that. Maybe figure out how to make your own nails. Might be helpful. But we're just talking about how everything is absolutely doof and crap and whatnot here, Dom. Um, Pretty cool one to go back and do replay crew on, I will say. Talked about a lot of stuff that got a little spicy. Probably got some butt cheeks tight. Tin Man brand pucker powder for those cheeks that get way too tight. So we had some of that going today. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been real fun. Blackness Forge made molds for rings. Some cans copper. Yep, exactly. All can be remolded and refined. We got into some stuff here today. Had off work today and was like, you know what? I'm gonna do. There it is. Dom got it. I thought it was 60s. I was thinking 63, but you said 83. But yeah, back then they were still copper. Hence the coin trimming. And the ridges. That's why they have ridges. So you can't clip the coins. On the 2nd of January, next week, you can find right here on this channel, the same one you're watching this dumbass on, you can go back and you can find me with my boy ACR. We will be here doing another Friday night Frisky live. Might just be me and him solo. It's two of us. But anyway, it might just be the two of us. I'm not sure if the missus is going to join me or not. But we're going to be back on the 2nd with Frisky Friday instead of a Whiskey Wednesday. Frisky Whiskey Friday. Should be some fun. Those of you who caught the last one, that was a lot of fun. I've gone back and I've watched his aha moment so many times. Like it is truly spectacular rewatching that aha moment right around the 15-minute mark. It's like 15:30, something like that. So if you haven't seen it, the Frisky Friday live, we did that this past Friday. Go check that out. Pretty cool. Pretty good time. Actually, really good time. A lot of great beers. 3 great beers. We did the Pumpkin Swirl, which is a pumpkin roll beer from here in PA by Rusty Rail Brewery. We did my Double Fog Monster. Went and I sent some of the stuff. I sent this stuff down to Andrew so he could have it and we could do it live on it. The Pumpkin Swirl was a first time for both of us. The Fog Monster obviously was my version of the Black Quad. He got to try it for the first time, and Andrew even said that is probably pound for pound the best double hazy IPA he has ever had. So that's sitting on top for him, and that's my Double Fog Monster. Then I sent him one of my, as I call them, the Yeti beers. Not like his Yeti beers that are actually Great Divide Yeti. Mine have a Yeti on them, but they're the Hazeway IPA. We kind of tamed it off with the Hazeway because we went from a 6% to a 9.5 down to a 7.5. Very light to finish it out. And more importantly than the beer, my wife joined me last Friday. Right here in the cave. Mrs. Metal was sitting here the whole time until she left and went upstairs. And when I went upstairs, I found her asleep in bed. She'd made some chicken sandwiches for us, and the air fryer was off, but they were still warm. And she was laying on the bed with Magnus, passed out cold. Yeah, we had. I know Noveski came in at one point. My cat. We had Peach come in, my wife's cat, the orange one. She came in at one point. Then we had Tacticat appear and disappear and reappear and disappear and reappear, as the Circle Pack kid does. Then we did have a Magnus appearance at the request of Andrew. He wanted to see our goodest boy, so we brought him down, and he was all nervous to be on camera. And he was all shaking and like, oh, what do I do? It was a little too much for him, and he's back again. Say his name and he shall appear. I was just talking to the nice folks in here about our last Frisky Friday and the event of, to a degree, Did not give anything away, so people have to go back and watch that. I said how you said that Fog Monster is, well, double Fog Monster, because there's regular Fog Monster and that's the double fog. How the double Fog Monster is pound for pound your favorite double. It's on record. We got it on the live. Andrew said it. It's out there in internet history now, on the interwebs for forever. But talking about that, how the missus joined and the animal appearances and stuff, and how this coming Friday, the 2nd, we are going to be doing another Frisky Friday. And I will have a new bourbon that I will be trying, courtesy of my boy Vaughn. He hooked me up with a nice bottle that I will have here with me on Friday. And I'm not quite sure what beer I am going to have. I may try to grab something new. I still have half a fridge full of Fog Monster because I had to buy it by the case to get it warm so I could send it down to ACR. So I got a whole fridge full of Fog Monster, double Fog Monsters out here. I am curious to try the regular Fog Monster. I've heard it is very good, but it is not as good as the double. So we're going to get into that here next Friday. I'm not sure if ACR is going to be doing a live later this evening or not. I'll let him throw that down in the chat there if he is or not, because that was an epic sunrise, morning wood on the water, wet and wild morning wood. For a Friday, starting off your Friday, you had Prepared Citizens Coffee and Chaos with Jay. Then you had the Wet and Wild Morning Wood with ACR. Then Twin got on, and you had a kickback with Twin Arrows. And then this afternoon, the Domesticated Moron brought you in. So here's your Friday covered, full of entertainment, courtesy of the dudes. Susie Q, good to see you. Yeah, it is bad you missed it live, but you know what? Replay crew is there. You can always watch it back as many times as you want. The 15-minute mark is where you kick in to the last Frisky Friday for that epic ACR reaction. You'll see. If you haven't watched it yet, you'll see what I mean. We got some other stuff planned for you guys for this coming Friday, so just stay tuned and make sure you hit that bell for all notifications, not just the personalized ones, because you never get notified whenever we do a live. Whenever we do go live, you don't get the notification. Sometimes, even if you do have all selected, the algorithmic overlords don't care to notify you, which is terrible. But one of the daddy's been drinking shirts dropping. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't realize it was going to become a thing. It was just an idea, and it came about, and we did it, and now apparently it's going to be a thing. But I don't know when it's going to become a thing. If it actually will be a thing, we're talking about it, but we shall see. You know, the thing, I kind of sounded like freaking Biden there with the thing and the whatnot and the corn pop and the daddy's been drinking. And all I've been drinking is freaking Red Bull. Well, I had a full throttle on a Red Bull, but whatever. So I am coming up on almost 2.5 hours sitting here quacking to you guys about all the stuff going on in the world. Some of you guys have been in here from the beginning. Some of you guys have joined for the middle towards the end. Some of you guys have been in and out. There's a lot that I have covered in this live. There have been a lot of different things that the chat has thrown in here that have been amazing talking points. I did get updated tracking info on that, Andrew, and it should be out to you today. Like, it is there, riding around, taking a tour of your town. But yeah, we've covered a lot of ground here today. I wanted to pick things up kind of where Coffee and Chaos left off this morning. I was in Jay's chat and throwing some stuff in there, and I'm like, I know where he's going. I'm right there with him. Like, I was like half macho man, like, let me tell you something, brother. You know, I was right there, like, ugh. And I've covered a lot of this stuff in the podcast previously, specifically episode 47. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Water Meat Taco Lovers Club. Yeah, we had to have some intermissions between Coffee and Chaos and Olympus has fallen. Yeah, we need fish taco with water meat lovers, water meat taco lovers. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, if mainly can have the prison pickles, we got taco meat or not taco meat, water meat over here, water meat tacos. And in like Super Mario, they had the little fish with the wings that flew. I forget what they're called, but I always called them the glup glup chicken because they have like chicken beaks, even though they're like fish, but they're flying. They were always going around going. I was like, glup glup chicken. Water meat with mayo. And Bad Dream is back. I'm still here quacking even after he ran his errands. But guys, this is another one of those types of lives that go back and rewatch Coffee and Chaos from this morning. Go back and watch this one. I mean, there's going to be a lot of things we're talking about that is pertinent to happenings and kind of what point we're at on that track heading to that destination. Water meat lovers Velcro patch. Team ID patch for the upcoming struggle. Oh my god, I could just imagine the freaking radio comms with that. About Johnny Depp's hot tub meat. Hot tub meat. That's funny. That is funny. Oh my word. But yes, there's some fun things on the horizon, as we can tell, with the water meat and the that he's been drinking and dumb stuff from me and whatnot. And fun stuff from me and ACR and the rest of these folks. Horsepower Coffee. Buy it with your money. ACR, Bad Dream, Covert Breakout. Make sure you're subscribing to those folks that are here with me right now. If there's a blue wrench, subscribe there. I got my link to Horsepower Coffee, and I'm waiting until after the holidays here, and I'm gonna put in a coffee order because I want to get some Horsepower Coffee up in this joint, and maybe a Horsepower Coffee sticker to join the cabinet of coolness. I added a new sticker here. A little one right here my daughter gave me. It's two hearts, one on either side, a rainbow, and it says heavy metal. My daughter gave it to me, so I'm like, it's going up there. And I also got one Viking Revolution beard care. Wife got me some beard oil for Christmas that is espresso bourbon. Oh my word. It feels amazing. It smells amazing. Viking Revolution beard care. Thumbs up from this dummy. I'm not paid to say that or anything. I'm just saying it because I got it for Christmas and it's pretty freaking great. Yeah, good stuff for sure. Flounder one actual to Water Daddy come in. But what do we call ACR? Water wings? You know, the argument he had with the duck this morning. Water wings. I mean, we do have Guppy Gilly suit already. He's already set. You're gonna fishing to come aboard, ladies. What? Yeah, somebody out there is gonna mess that up. Covert. They're not gonna say Flounder One and Water Daddy. They're gonna say Flounder Daddy, which reminds me of GT and the whole Flannel Daddy thing. Puddle Pirate kills duck. Front page news. Oh my, you guys are awesome. Oh shoot. Let me see here. What do I have? We are getting a stupid ice storm here. We are still rolling for another minute here, Justin. We were supposed to be getting some massive ice storm here. This is supposed to be pretty intense. They're shutting down different roads and limiting travel on others and so on and so forth. So, yeah, Justin lives north of me and northwest of me, and he's already getting it. We probably are, but I'm down here in the cave, so I don't hear anything. Excuse me. But, yeah, Chris is still getting rain, which is not good up there with all the flooding and stuff they had up there, which really didn't get much attention nationally, which is stupid. So we got some funky weather going here, but I hope everybody is doing good. I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas and you got to spend time with the ones you love and you had a good time. You made some memories. KP, look at you. There you are, man. And festive Yule to KP Heathen and DJ the Metalhead Mercenary. Festive Yule, my brothers. Skull. But yeah, with the weather coming in, I want to try and get a couple things done before everything's frozen and iced over. And Elsa forgot to take her freaking meds and just like with her let it go shit. Yeah, I want to get some stuff done before all that takes place. But I hope you guys are having a great day, great morning, great evening, great afternoon, whenever you are watching this. Replay crew, you guys are awesome. Chat, you guys are freaking rock stars. You're the unsung heroes of this channel and every channel. You heard it here. You heard it here first. Just come to Texas. Texas is not the answer to all of my problems. But you guys take care. Have a great time. Be safe. Don't eat yellow snow. And yeah, if I don't see you beforehand and somebody else is live in the chat, I will be catching y'all here on Friday the 2nd for another Frisky Friday with my boy ACR Protect. We'll be up in here doing the things. So, guys, until then or the next time, metal out.